Welcome. Thank you, everyone who has decided to show up tonight for this week's Gurus in Training Hangout. This is Friday, September 20th, or the 21st. It is the 21st. Friday, November 21st, 2014. And tonight I want to talk about something different, but not so much. My name is Barry J. Solomon, and I am the leader of the Legacy Tribe Empower Network. The title of today's Google Hangout is Who Am I? Becoming Who I Am. Who am I? Who I am, becoming who I am. Becoming who I am. I am becoming who I am. See, you have to say that a few times to really get the... And when I wrote this, I had no idea what it would mean 2 weeks from after I wrote it. And after I read this is at the top of I say these affirmations to myself every night and every day. And at the top, it says, who I am becoming, period, who I am. And then it just occurred to me a couple days ago, I am becoming who I am. Let's think about this for a minute. I am becoming who I am. I mean, you really have to marinate on that statement. Because how exactly do you become who you already are? So, as I read these affirmations to myself, I read them to myself at night, just before I go to bed, because your subconscious mind is most active just before going to bed. And when you just wake up in the morning. And so that's why I read these affirmations. And these affirmations are becoming who I am. So if you want to become something, if you're seeking a certain result in your life, you are doing certain things that will bring about that result. And one of those things that I do is these affirmations that I read to myself every night and every day. When I first started almost a year ago and started working online, I really had to get over myself, so to speak. I had to acquire a specific amount of skills to get to where I am now. I remember when I was 14 years old, I did not get along with my mom because she felt that she had to shield me from getting a girl pregnant at an early age, because she didn't want that to happen to her. I mean, to happen to me, the same thing that happened to her. When my mom had me, she was 16 years old. She was still a child, a baby having babies. And at the age of 14, I was hard-headed. I was bullheaded. I wanted to do things my own way. And I was not trying to listen to anyone else. And one of those people happened to be my mom. And so at 14, she kicked me out, basically. So my mom put me out of the house, and I went to go live with my aunt and my uncle, about 45 minutes from Los Angeles. And that was part of me becoming who I am. See, everything that happens to you in your life is a part of becoming who you are. And everything extra that you add on to that is part of the becoming who I am. So you're already who you are, and then you're becoming who you are at the same time. Because your childhood shaped you in a certain way. And some of us, I am one of those people. We have to figure out a way to get rid of some of the stuff that we were taught when we were young. And so when I was 14 and I got kicked out and I had to move and live with my aunt and my uncle, it taught me that different people operate different ways, different families, different households. And it was kind of funny because they all ate, my cousin and my aunt and my uncle. It was just him. He was an only child. And they always ate. They ate together at the table, at a dinner table. And that was kind of a culture shock for me. It was kind of weird because in my house, my brothers, we would always eat watching TV, and we would have a dinner tray in the living room. And that's how we always ate. Me, my mom, and my brothers. That's how we ate. We didn't really sit around a table and eat every night. Sometimes we did, but it was rare. And so that was part of the becoming who I am in my early childhood. And now I read these affirmations, and as I read these affirmations, I'm becoming what I'm reading because I'm speaking it into existence. And so that's how you become who you are. So you're already a certain type of a person. And then if you're in business, if you're into any type of personal development, if you are into growing at all as a person, you are becoming who you are, but not actually who you are. You're actually becoming someone else better. And so as you sit there and you listen to this on your smartphone or your iPad or your Android phone or your iPhone, and you're listening to the sound of my voice, and maybe there's something that I say that resonates with you as far as becoming who you are. And so after the age of 14, the next thing that happened was I graduated high school, and I found myself back in LA. And I went to school, I went to college, but I didn't find any. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I really didn't find anything that I liked in college. I tried real estate. I took some real estate classes, but I was so bored out of my mind in those real estate classes that I didn't stick with that. Then I tried biology, took some biology classes because I thought that interested me at the time, and it was too much for me. And so here I was, out of college. I didn't graduate or anything like that. I just took some classes, and I'm in LA, and I'm thinking, I'm broke, I'm not doing anything with my life, so I decided to go to the Navy. So I joined the Navy. I was 18 years old. I didn't tell anyone I was joining the Navy until I was on the bus on my way to boot camp. That's when I called and told some people, hey, I'm joining I just joined the Navy. And so I called some people, my mom, and she said, what? You joined the Navy? You know you cannot take orders and you don't like being told what to do. Why did you join the Navy? And then my best friend at the time, he said, what? You joined the Navy? You don't like being told what to do, and you join the Navy where their thing is giving you orders and you have to follow them. And so that was part of the becoming who I am. I'm driving, in case you didn't notice. It's a little rainy, but it's kind of funny. I'm driving down the road, and I'm doing a Google Hangout, and I'm talking to you as I'm driving. How's that for multitasking? How's that for making the most of your time? And so that was another part of becoming who I am. Fast forward, December. So that was my college, a little bit of college. I'll tell you about a little bit more about my high school years at the next event in Myrtle Beach, Florida, South Carolina. But fast forward to December, New Year's Eve, 2012, or New Year's Eve 2013. It's about to be 2014. So I'm sitting there in front of my computer. I've researched multiple online opportunities. I get a call from my wife. She says, hey, I have this guy I want you to meet. I said, cool. Is this guy that you want me to meet an online meeting, a phone meeting, or a meeting in person? She says, it depends. I said, okay. She gives me his name. I look him up online. I study the company that he's in. I watch about 10 of his videos. And at the end of that 2-week period, I'm sitting there in front of my computer in my van. I have about $25.10 in my bank account. My palms are literally sweating. My heart is literally beating faster and faster as I'm considering making a decision to start an online business starting with a $25 blog. That's where my business started. That's where my online journey started. And as I hit that, I inputted my name and my credit card information, and I made a decision I made a decision to become who I am. I made a decision to actually change what was currently taking place in my life. I made a decision to become a millionaire. I made a decision to change my current financial position. I'm not saying that a $25 blog made me a millionaire. I'm saying the training, the skills that I've learned, the skills that I've acquired is what's allowing me to, by the time that I'm done learning all of the stuff that I'm learning right now, and as I invest the next 12 months, 24 months into learning these skills, these specific set of skills that is going to take me from zero to $10, $20, $30,000 a month, $250,000 a year. Because on December 31st, 2013, I decided to become who I am. And it took all the chain of events that happened from when I got kicked out when I was 14 to when I joined the Navy to when I decided to start an online business. And I want you to understand something. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. It doesn't matter what your past looks like. It doesn't matter if you're a felon and you made some mistakes in your life. It doesn't matter if you're gay or if you're a drug addict or wherever you are in your life. If you're a thief, if you're a criminal, if you were laughed at as a kid, picked on because you're short or you're tall and skinny, or because you're chubby and fat and you wore glasses. And you think about high school. Think about high school. What was high school like for you? And where are those people now? Where are the people that teased you? Where are the people that told you you wouldn't amount to nothing? They're nowhere to be found. They don't matter. That's the past. Your past does not equal your future when you're becoming who you are. And when you decide to do something different with your life, when you decide to make a change, when you decide and when you make a decision and you say, that is not who I am. That is the old me. My past does not equal my future. I was a criminal. In 2000, right after I got out of the Navy, I met a guy who was into identity theft. And so I developed a criminal mind, and he taught me all about identity theft, and he taught me how to do how to get credit cards and people's names. I'm talking farmers, senators, how to use mailboxes, how to get Home Depot cards, and just any kind of credit card. He taught me the whole operation. And so I started doing that stuff. And I was a criminal. I was a white-collar criminal. And I started to get pretty good at it. And We were doing identity theft before the rest of the United States knew what it was. I mean, this guy that taught me, he made multi-million-dollar companies change. He hit them so hard that he made them change their credit issuing policies. The reason that some of the companies are more strict on the way they are and how they issue credit is because of this guy who was major at doing. I mean, he had motorcycles, houses, cars, different everything. But something happened that made me throw away all of my profiles, all of my credit cards, all of my checkbooks. Let me show you how easy this used to be. I don't know how it is now because I don't do that anymore. But let me show you how easy. If you find, or should I say back then, let's just pretend we're in year 2000 right now. Take a trip back to the past. Let's say I find a checkbook in someone's name. Let me just show you how easy this used to be. What we used to do. So if I find a checkbook, it could be a closed account in a dumpster, on the ground, anywhere, in the bushes. A checkbook, a decent checkbook in someone's name, anyone's name. I could take that check. I can write it out for $5,000. I could send it to, let's say Chevron or Home Depot or Lowe's, to their credit card payment processing center. As soon as they get the check, they credit the account, the card, and you check the balance. Boom, $5,000 is on your card. And before that check gets to the bank, and before the bank realizes that the check is no good, they have already funded that account, and you have already used all the money, and you're gone. That's how easy it was. But something happened. Something happened to me that made me throw away everything. I threw away all the credit cards. I threw away all the profiles. I threw everything in the dumpster. And it's called karma. It's called karma. When I was in the Navy, I was living with some roommates, and when I left Virginia, I left some stuff in a closet in a bag. I forgot it. And that stuff happened to be some checkbooks. And while I was doing all that stuff in LA, that credit card fraud and all that stuff, someone got a hold of my checks, and I had about $2,000 in my checking account at the time. I think I'm about 23 years old at this point in time in my life. So it's back in 2000 still. So I had about $2,000 in my checking account. Next thing I know, I had about $10 in my checking account because someone who lived in that house, or a friend of a friend, or somebody got a hold of my checks, and they were writing checks on my account to pay their rent, their cell phone bill. They were paying their light bill, any kind of bill they had. They was paying those bills with my checking account, draining my checking account of all funds. And so that's what changed everything for me. And that's when I decided that karma was real. And so that was part of the process of becoming who I am. That was part of the process. And one final note that I want to add to that story is the karma. The second part of the karma was my friend, my best friend. I got him involved at the time. And so he went to, and I was in the music business, and I still am, but I was really hardcore in it at that point in time. And so it was my birthday, around my birthday month, March. And so he was in the Guitar Center in LA, and he had a credit card in someone else's name, and he was going to buy something for me, for a present. He was going to get a studio microphone for me. And what happened was, so he goes to the counter and he gives the person his credit card, and the person says, "Just a minute, sir." So they go into the back, and the person realizes that it's not a legitimate credit card or whatever. I don't know how they figured it out, but anyway, he walks out of the Guitar Center, Next thing he knows, the police are out there and they put him in handcuffs as soon as he walks out. He goes to jail. And so I get a call saying that he's in jail. I need to come bail him out. So I had to go to his house, get his money out the closet, out the shoebox or whatever, wherever he had it hidden. And I had to go to the jail and bail him out that night. And he walked out that night. I had to get him out. But he was getting something for me. And so that's karma part 2. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget. You don't forget when someone goes to jail for you, doing something for you. You don't forget that. And so that's when we were in our 20s. Early 20s. And I say that I wanted to tell you guys this story because it's part of becoming who I am. It's part of what shaped me.